Hello, I'm Josh Pasick, and I'm doing a book review on Fallout: An American Nuclear Tragedy by Philip Fradkin. The book has about 330 pages, including about 100 pages in notes. It was published in 1989, and a paperback copy is about $13 on Amazon. This book is mainly about nuclear testing in Nevada in the late 1950s and the early 1960s. And it talks a lot about the effect on neighboring areas. The testing causes a lot of fallout, and the government regulates these tests, and the fallout that is caused from the tests causes a lot of livestock to get sick, it causes a lot of people to get sick, and it causes an increased rate of cancer in areas that normally wouldn't have cancer. The government never really tells any of the citizens what kind of precautions to take. They don't tell them how to take cover or how to protect themselves. So really the government's at fault for all these sicknesses. The families of those affected decide to sue the government so that they can get some compensation. There's a lot of characters in this book, and the author goes to a very large extent to explain each person's role, but they never really emerge as main characters. They just play their own separate role in the case. So the characters are basically the government with their legal team and the people with their legal team. The government plays the role of the bad guy, obviously, when they deny that they had anything to do with the sicknesses, and the people feel like they're just vulnerable sheep at the government's mercy. When you use the word apocalypse, this book really doesn't apply because it's mainly just nuclear testing. It doesn't have anything to do with warfare, so I don't really think that the world could end this way. But I would assume that anyone that's affected by the testing, the world would seem like it's kind of gonna end. The families of those affected by the fallout decide that they want to sue the government in a case that would be called Allen versus the United States of America. The government continues to say that they had nothing to do with the sicknesses and that the sicknesses and cancer were all caused by coincidence and natural occurrences. The people don't believe a word of it, and the author mainly talks about the legal proceedings and the politics involving the case. I couldn't really find a lot of themes, but the one that kind of stood out was good versus evil. The evil obviously comes from the government, and the good comes from the citizens who are kind of innocent and just being taken advantage of through government testing. I really don't like the author's writing style, mainly because the chapters are extremely long, and the shortest chapter is probably about 10 pages, but every other chapter is about 40 pages. And there's a lot of words per page, and a lot of the words are large and sophisticated, and it kind of makes it hard to follow, and it was kind of hard to read. Overall, I would give this book about a 2 out of 5. I didn't like it at all because it was a lot of politics, and I just don't really like reading about politics, and it's kind of boring. Like I said, it's hard to understand, and I'd rather see a lot of action and kind of suspense, but there was really none of that. It was mainly just legal stuff. But to the people that were negatively affected by the testing, I guess you could say that in a way their world has come to an end, so that's really the only kind of apocalypse that's discussed in this book. And that's all the time I have, so see ya.